Today we're looking at one of our favorite hotels in Vegas, the Palazzo at the Venetian. We'll look at 3 different room types, some of the restaurants we like, and features you might not know about. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm, and subscribe if you want to travel smarter. Welcome to the Palazzo in Vegas. Let's check out the view. So one big thing to note with these rooms is that they are all suite, so they're gigantic, and probably one of the reasons why we really like Palazzo. This is night number 2, so we did stay in another room in the same property earlier. This view is not as good. I should have taken more video of the last one, but that was more of a strip view. This one's facing the Venetian towers and more the back end of the buildings. The Palazzo is one of our favorite hotels on the strip because of the size of the rooms, so this is a default base room. They're all suites. Some other ones that might be similarly priced are going to be half the size and not as nice. Right off the bat, we have a couch over here. It's not the most comfortable, a little stiff, but it works. One thing to note is that it is a pull-out couch, so there is a bed here. If you have a player 3, then this is perfect. Or I guess if you piss off player 2, then you're going to be on the couch. Spinning around over here, we have a desk. It works pretty well for eating or if you're doing meetings. So in the last room, we were taking a few meetings during the day because we have work to do still, and I was on the bed while Mandy was over here. This one's more of the work desk, which is okay. Main issue is that the chair is not the most comfortable, so it's pretty stiff and bony, if that's the right word. Like it feels like your butt doesn't have cushioning. So I think it is a bit more dated than it looks. Even though there is Ethernet, it's not the fastest, so a little hit or miss there. Still good to have though. I'm also a big fan of the lighting, so it just looks nice. It's a pretty well-polished product overall. There's 2 TVs. This is the first one by the couch. Opening up the drawer, we have the mini bar. It is weighted, so be careful. Don't take anything if you don't want to get charged like $10 per drink. Over here are some more snacks. Also pretty expensive and all weighted. For most Vegas hotels on the strip, there are going to be Walgreens or CVS pretty much connected to it. So downstairs, if you are willing to go to it, there is a lot of options, and the food and drinks and stuff are going to be about half the price, if not a lot cheaper. For most people, it's not uncommon to do a CVS or Walgreens runs towards the end of the night. That way you have snacks and stuff to tide over. Right over here is the midsection, and also some pretty strong fans if you do run hot. So the other room, I think, didn't really have them positioned this way, so it was a lot warmer at night. This one feels a lot cooler. We end up just putting stuff on this area, so usually our luggage, so that's why we're not unpacked yet. But otherwise, I think you can kind of just sit here or relax or just have it as a station. One thing to note and be careful with is that the steps are marble and slippery, so I've almost slipped a few times. This one's not as bad, but the one by the door was pretty well polished, and you would fall. Over here is the bed. There is a frame up here, pretty nice, and also a pretty solid facade towards the back, which looks fancy, kind of a gold and red theme to it. Tons of lights. I don't know how to turn on this one. Hello? There are curtains here, which I've never noticed, but I think it's more decor rather than actual usage. The bed is not the most comfortable. It's passable. The thing I don't like though are the pillows. So I'm not sure if they changed them out recently or what's going on, but they're a bit stiffer than they should be. I feel like we've stayed here in the past and I never really noticed this, but it's just too much. So it basically feels like you're sleeping on a rock. It's a bit harder than I'd like. Maybe that means that they just replaced the pillows, so it's new and that's a good thing. For comfort, I think we both had a hard time sleeping. Sheets are also pretty warm, so Mandy woke up a bunch of times throughout the night. Not ideal for a lot of purposes. Maybe if it was a bit longer, it'd be fine, but I feel like there's just too much material inside relative to the size of the pillow. And yes, even for the back ones, kind of the same, just very stiff and it needs to be broken in. That's pretty good overall. If you are watching TV or you're working and you don't want to be on the bed, there is another seat over here. This one's pretty comfortable, well worn in, but it's nice. Another TV right over here. This one is a little bit bigger. Down here are some drawers. So if you are staying for a bit longer, then these can be useful and you like unpacking. Yeah, just all empty drawers. Right next to the artwork is going to be the closet. These are the bathrobes, and they are kind of showing their wear. So it's a bit off-white, kind of muddied and used, if it makes sense. Like you can kind of tell that it's had its time in the sun. And there's also a lot of scuff marks towards the back. So I feel like maybe it needs a bleach cycle or something, or they just need to refresh them. Irons right over here if you do have a fancier date night or if you're here for business and you need to look a bit more kept. Safe is right over here. Some more of a vertical one and useful, I guess, if you go shopping. Also ironing board towards the back, a bit dated as well and kind of stain filled, but it's fine. I'm not using it, so I'm not overly concerned, but just FYI. If you are here for family, there are adjoining rooms, making it a lot easier to figure things out. Over here is the bathroom. Vanities right over here, so if you want to sit down and brush your hair, dry your hair, do makeup or anything else, then this is perfect. Seat down here that pulls out, and light. Not the strongest light. Toiletries are here, typical things you'd expect. Shower cap. The one thing I like taking is actually the sewing kits because I find that they tend to be useful at home and yeah, never really know when you need to sew something. Over here is the double vanity. No complaints overall, works pretty well as expected. One thing I didn't notice actually until right now is the TV in the corner. I don't think I've ever even turned that on. Wow, I didn't know that was there. A little low res, but it's fine. I guess good for news in the morning. The real intent though is probably for the tub. Oh, but it's kind of placed the wrong way. So if you're sitting over here, you can watch TV, but I feel like most people like being the other way given where the water's coming out. Not a bad tub though, pretty sizable. If you're under 6'2" or so, I think you're gonna enjoy the tub. I'm gonna add this into my room tours from now on, but taking a look at the tub, it's pretty clean. I've seen some grimier ones where I wouldn't want to get in. This one's pretty normal. Maybe a little dusty actually, so I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing, but not grimy. Let's see if my back is dusty. The soap is from Etro. Pretty good soap. Same thing with the body lotion. This is the shower, pretty normal. Heads down here, there's no rainfall or anything, so very straightforward. If you're over 6, you're gonna have to duck. The one we were in yesterday, which I now kind of wish I took a video of it, had jets on the wall, and that was amazing. Pretty much felt like a jacuzzi jet towards your back, and water pressure, everything was great, so no complaints. Spinning around back here, we have the throne. Pretty standard one, not a bidet or anything, but it works. In case you're wondering, the room is right over here. So all the rooms are almost exactly the same size, if not all exactly the same size. There are some bigger ones towards the edge maybe, but yeah, generally it's all the same. Even with that though, it is a big room and one of our favorite options in Vegas. Okay, so in case you're wondering why we ended up booking 2 different rooms rather than just one room for 2 nights, the main reason is because of how we booked it. If you end up booking through a travel portal, oftentimes you get a bunch of other benefits. So for the Palazzo, with something like FHR, you end up getting a $100 credit per stay, regardless of whether your stay is 1 night, 2 nights, 10 nights long, and you also get breakfast every day of the stay. The credit works for a lot of different restaurants, and this can change and does change, but a lot of good ones. For example, Barrera, Buddy V's, and Cut. Also Mott 32 and Wakuda. Some of these are a bit overpriced and I wouldn't necessarily recommend them, for example Wakuda, but it's still a nice vibe. We'll show you 2 of our favorite ones later in the video. For the breakfast credit, it's $60 per day and these are the restaurants that work. As of filming, this includes Bouchon Bakery, Grand Lux, and also Starbucks. Other options as well, but those are the ones we lean towards. I think Bouchon is a new one because I don't remember it on the list in the past, and it's a really nice one. One of the other benefits of these portals is early check-in and late checkout. Most hotels in Vegas are going to kick you out of the room at about 11 a.m. Here we had 4 p.m., so even if you are changing rooms, it's not that much of a hassle. So in our case, we had breakfast, had a bunch of work meetings, and then left the room around 3:30 to switch to this one. And changing rooms was pretty much Manny going down, checking in, us going down the elevator, and then going back up to another tower. Or I guess another set of elevators because different elevators go to different floors. If you want to learn more about cards that have FHR and you want to support the channel, we have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. If you want the benefits, but you don't want to add a new card, then consider VIP booking portals like Cardnomics. So pretty much exactly the same idea. You have an on-site credit, breakfast credit, and early check-in, and potentially late checkout depending on availability. Unlike FHR, it's not guaranteed, so a bit more hit or miss there. Still a great portal, and if you're interested, I'll put a link down below with the current password. Also, I had to check out of my room and settle that bill, but that was like 5 minutes because there is a separate line for Palazzo and for invited guests with these programs. There's the normal line, which can get pretty long, but it's been pretty calm recently, and then there's a side line for invited guests. Regardless of how you book, you still have to pay the resort fees, but this makes it feel less bad. Okay, let's check out the rest of the property. If you're new to Palazzo, the best way to think of it is as the newer and calmer tower of the Venetian. Both are one resort with the same base building. On the ground floor, both sides have their own casino floors, and connecting them are shops and restaurants. One level up is one of our favorite walks, and it's the canals and St. Mark's Square. Something about seeing a fake sunset in the middle of the day is just weirdly relaxing. This floor is also where the new poker room is located. Above this, on the 3rd floor, you have the spa, gym, and pools. The gym isn't bad, but it's relatively small given the number of guests for the property. The pools are pretty sizable and you have a few different options. Definitely not as clubby or crazy vibes as some other hotels, it still leans on the calmer end. If you want even quieter though, I would go to the Bouchon pools, which some people consider the secret pools. It's less popular since there's less direct sunlight, meaning that it's not ideal for sunbathing, but this is the pool I would go to relax and lounge at. Alright, we're at Mott 32 for dinner, and we finally got the duck. We've tried to get this a few times, but on weekends it usually sells out since they only have 40. Weekdays they have 30, and we were in luck today. It is pretty pricey at about $138, but it's a lot of duck for 2 people, and that's the only thing we got. They have a few different cuts. For the first one, it's just a skin, and it's a really clean cut. For this one, they recommend just a bit of sugar. Pretty much a candied duck. Let's give it a taste. That's a really good duck. For the other cuts, there are a bit of meat on it, and it's meant for the wrapper ones, and there's a few different ways to dress it. Let's do the basic way first. It's going to be grabbing a wrapper, make sure to close the lid, that way it doesn't get cold, and then kind of treat it like a burrito where you load stuff in. Some duck, some veggies, and some sauce. Once you have this, wrap it up and enjoy. I like that it's the wrappers here rather than the buns. Definitely a lot of food, and if you are here 4 people, then probably add other items, and it's a perfect main. You are paying a premium, but I think it's actually worth it for Vegas. That's really good duck. One thing I really like compared to a lot of other places is that they actually give you the duck. A lot of other places, I think, secretly repurpose the duck meat or other dishes. Here you have the meat. So when they say it's a full duck, it's a full duck. Another thing too that I don't think I've seen in a lot of other places is such a thick skin. I'm gonna use my hands here because I think it's easier to show. It's really thick and juicy and plump. It's still crunchy and delicious as well. But yeah, just a really good skin and really good technique. That's so good. The duck's perfectly cooked, super plump, delicious, not overcooked at all, and one of the best ducks I've had. One of the reasons too is because they cook it or finish it when you get here, so it takes about 30 to 40 minutes from ordering for it to get to your table. For the weekdays, they have 30 of them, and weekends they have 40. Weekends, they almost always sell out given that there's more people. Weekdays is the best chance of getting it if you are trying to snag it without reserving it. If you are 2 people, I think you can just order the duck and you're going to be happy. Maybe get a drink or 2 or an app, but it's more than enough food. If you're a group of 4, then add other dishes and that's going to be fine. Yeah, just a really good duck. I've had a lot of duck growing up. This is up there. Alrighty, we're at Bouchon, and this is one of the main restaurants on property. It is towards the Venetian side, so a bit of a hike if you are at Palazzo. In the past, this was actually not a breakfast credit option, and now it is, so super excited to try it. We also did have it in the summer, so I have some pretty high expectations. We ended up going to the Yountville location, which was amazing. Also, we do have a $60 per day credit as part of our room rate, and let's dive into it. First up is going to be the bread. So to serve it directly on the table, it's going to have butter as well as some jam. It's okay. Nothing too crazy. Next up is the escargot, and you kind of think of it like a gummy bear in a butter garlic sauce. There is a pastry on top of it, which is his signature. Cheers. Really good flavors, the pastry's perfect, flaky, and it soaks up a lot of the flavor. I'm actually going to test the bread as well because I think it would be a very good avenue for the bread. Really good sauce and flavors. The other item we ended up getting was the crab egg benedict. So it is on one piece of bread rather than being on 2 smaller ones, and let's cut into it. Also note that what you're seeing is half of it since Mandy ate the other half. Cheers. Really good sauce, very creamy and rich, and you taste a lot of corn. It kind of reminds me of their chicken dish as well. Really tasty. I'm usually not an eggs benedict person, but I'd make an exception here. There also is actual crab. Oh, there also is crab here rather than just sprinkles of it, so you have some chunks. Pretty good, but I'd say that the sauce carries a lot of the weight here. I think I'd actually get it again. Not bad at all. I feel like creamy flavors and corn flavors. This is perfect. For dinner, we are at Miznon, which is our favorite economic option in Venetian. Beyond that, it's just really good as well. They're known for their pitas, whether you want it in a wrap or out of one. My recommendation would be the ribeye. Freshly cooked, well seasoned, and looks amazing. Okay, let's give it a taste. Perfectly cooked in tons of flavors. This is my favorite item here. I could probably eat 2 of these. Moving to my second favorite item is going to be the lamb kebab pita. I generally prefer a pita rather than a plate, but we figured we'd show it both ways. A lot of stuff in here, including grilled onions, pickles, peppers, and of course the meat. The meat's really well seasoned and definitely my second favorite item here. It also works as a pretty easy to-go option, so you don't have to order as much food. You can kind of do one of these maybe for a late afternoon lunch, and then one for dinner or maybe even a late night one. One of the more underrated items is the grilled cauliflower. It's pretty much a giant head just grilled, and it does look a little burnt, but the flavors are amazing. It's simple but super tasty. Last up is the hummus, which is a giant plate. There's egg and a bunch of other stuff in here. Let's give it a taste. Super creamy and pretty complex, really great flavors. It's one of those things that I wouldn't think to order because I'm not really a hummus connoisseur, but all the ingredients work together really well. I'm gonna have some by itself. Definitely better with the pita bread, but no complaints. I think my go-to for myself is still the ribeye and as a pita, but if you are looking for something to share, this is pretty solid. Again, you don't have to order this much food, you can break it up into 2 meals. We just figured we can't show everything while we're here. Okay, going to finish this off and see you at the next stop. Good morning and welcome to round number 2 at Bouchon Bistro. So we liked it so much that we came back for a second time. There are other options with the credits, but this is awesome and it beats having to go to Napa. We ended up getting their second signature item, which is the chicken and waffles, along with the bread, which comes complimentary. You're getting half a chicken and 4/4 of waffles, so perfect for sharing if you aren't looking to eat too much. Let's start with the waffles. That's surprisingly good, wow. The maple syrup is delicious. It's not too thick or sweet though, so it blends really well. Let's try the waffle by itself because I'm kind of curious. The waffle's light and airy, and I think it's a sourdough base. Mandy, give it a try just to make sure I'm not crazy.
Yeah, it tastes a little sourdoughy.
That's probably the best waffle I've ever had. I'm probably gonna make enemies. I think the bread is okay, but the waffle is amazing. Let's try my half of the chicken, which is the white meat. Let's start by itself first. It's okay, but for me, it needs a bit of sauce. Lucky for us, we do have a savory gravy. Let's try it again. It's a chicken thinking stock with bacon and also a bunch of other veggies. Super delicious. If you like chicken, if you like waffles, I don't think you can go wrong with this item. I'm gonna dip the bread in the gravy. That's a really good gravy. Perfect breakfast, and I would recommend splitting it if you're either a lighter eater or you have more meals coming for the rest of the day. Mandy also got a coffee, so I'm gonna try it while we're here. Cheers. That's good, pretty normal coffee. Get the chicken and waffles, super tasty. Okay, so we did confirm with them it is a sourdough base for the waffles, and also maple syrup from Canada, Crown maple syrup, which is apparently really good, and it is super tasty, so it kind of makes sense. Chicken is also a Jadori chicken, so it's the Wagyu of chicken. It's brined for 12 hours, air dried for 2 days, and then made afterwards. That's why there's a very crispy skin. Definitely one of the better chicken and waffles I've had, and a more sophisticated take on it. If you're into pastries or you have a bit of a leftover credit, I'd recommend going to Bouchon Bakery. They have a lot of things like croissants that are really good. One of our favorite items is the Better Nutter. Yes, that actually is the name. Pretty much a peanut butter cream filling with 2 cookies. The peanut butter isn't too strong, so it is a bit more fluid rather than being very stiff like normal peanut butter. So it is more of a cream. Even though it is pretty good, the flavors are a bit singular and it can get pretty sweet given how much you have. So I'd recommend sharing it and maybe getting 2 different items, that way you can kind of mix it up. In our case, we had $6 left over, so perfect amount. If you are booking through a VIP portal that includes a 1-level upgrade, a common tactic is to book right below the upgrade you want. It's not guaranteed to work, but has worked for us pretty often. And that's exactly what we did on our 2021 trip. Starting out right over here, we have a pretty awesome view of the Strip, Treasure Island over there, Trump Tower in the back, as well as Fashion Show on the right-hand side. If you look down, you can actually see the pools pretty high up. Surprised by how much higher up we are than Treasure Island. So coming back over here, this is the main living room area. One thing I really like about this property is that they are pretty consistent with their design aesthetic. So you'll see this type of design, and we'll also see it in the bathroom as well. Ended up having a meal over here because it was just easier. Pretty comfortable overall. This couch is also amazing as well. Very comfortable if you want to take a nap, and if you want to put your feet up and watch some TV, you can move this around, and yeah. Over there is a TV behind you. Not the biggest TV, but I mean, it does the job if you're entertaining guests. And on the other side is the main bedroom. One thing I really like is that there's this subdivider, and I probably should not be doing this. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I feel like most Vegas properties, you have a lot of walls rather than this open space. And yeah, having 2 levels is kind of interesting to me. Not used to that at all. This is one of the most comfortable chairs here, and it's not really a chair even. I think it's meant to be a footrest. Super duper comfy. These are fine as well if you want to do some breathing. Anything else works really well. Main disadvantage is that if you are someone having meetings, you can't really close off the bedroom side like a lot of other suites. To me, this feels like more entertaining friends rather than business partners. Over here is the little coffee island, and over here is the main bedroom side. So pretty big bed. I really like the decor aesthetic again, and pretty comfortable. This was one of the work desks that we spent a lot of time on. Main reason is because there are plugs. So there's 2 chairs over here and on that side, obviously. So a lot of other properties don't really have USB plugs. This one does, for this table at least. Coming in here, we have a walk-in closet, decently sized. I mean, I can touch both sides, but still bigger than what I'm used to. Yeah. Also some bathrobes, which were, I would say they were pretty comfortable, but we've had more comfortable. Coming out of the closet, back into the bedroom, this TV, kind of a context of how big or small it is, decently sized. I'm just not used to such open space. I feel like most other properties just feel a lot smaller. Coming to the bathroom, pretty standard. Shower was fine, great hot water, good water pressure. It is a little bit smaller and ceilings aren't as high as some other properties. Tub is also a bit cramped. Nothing really too interesting over here, to be honest. It's just sinks. I do like how shiny it was, so something that I guess they went for. And if you go into the bathroom, kind of lame, but yeah, you can see the same aesthetic for the light that we saw out there, and same with the other one in the main bathroom area. Oh, Mandy's not tall enough, but right up here. This ties back into the part where it's fine if you have friends over, but probably not business people, because there's not really a separate bathroom. It is just one thing. For example, if you have a partner who is showering because they're not part of your business, they don't really have a separate bathroom for that. They kind of just walk in and can see everything.
2021 was our first visit to Mott 32, and Mandy was super excited for it. Funny enough, this was the first time we tried to order the duck when it was $108, but it was sold out. Instead, we opted for a bunch of small dishes and a main. Starting with the dim sum, we have soup dumplings, barbecue pork buns, and a fried roll.
We're gonna try the sweet and sour soup dumpling, some vinegar. Pretty spicy, pretty different than what I've ever had. And it's worth a try, but I wouldn't get it again. This is supposed to be one of the best pork buns out there because it uses very high quality pork. Really crispy. Reminds me kind of Tim Ho Wan's. It actually tastes a bit better than Tim Ho Wan. The one we go to is the New York one, which is not good. The Hong Kong one's pretty good though. So yeah, it's up there. I kind of want to say this is the best pork bun I've had. The next is the duck spring roll. Comes with Worcester sauce as well. Okay. Not really a spring roll type of person generally. It's okay. I don't think I'd order it again. Maybe worth trying. Nice and crispy, but not really much duck flavor.
Then came the main, which is the lobster spicy tofu. A surprising amount of lobster inside, definitely more than I expected.
So I'll taste it by itself first, because I'm kind of curious. Really good flavors. I don't think Mandy's gonna like this because it's really spicy. No. But really good flavors. I think Mandy's gonna be ordering a second dish that's not this. So I'm gonna try out some of the lobster, mapo tofu, and then some of the rice. I'll try the lobster by itself first to make sure it's a blank slate. Lobster's like perfectly done. It's not overcooked at all. I was a bit worried about that. Perfectly done. Literally feels like they sous vide it or something, or that they're actually good cooks. That's really good. Yeah, so many flavors coming together.
Overall, the food was good, but the service was a miss. Glad to see it improving dramatically though on our recent visit. Back in 2023, we did the same upgrade strategy. This time we booked a grand 1-bedroom suite and had our fingers crossed for an upgrade to the fitness suite. and it worked.
What's up guys, it's Sebastian, and today we're looking at one of the best suites in Vegas. This is probably one of the more unique ones given the amenities, but first, let's take a look at the view. What we're gonna do is raise the blinds. So we have a view of the pools of Wynn, the golf course, as well as the new eye right over here. It's a lot bigger in real life than on the camera. Let's take a look at all the features and then tell you how we booked it. Right over here is a gigantic TV as well as the mini bar. These are not free, so if you don't want to trigger the weighted sensors, make sure to be careful. These are the snacks. Also a few chairs throughout the room. Not too bad if you want to do some reading and a bit of a view. Over here, you can do some work or I guess make some business calls. This is a super comfortable sofa and you can entertain guests or just hang out and watch TV. Back over here, the area that we kind of ran through, you have a dining table if you want to have a meal here, and it also connects to the other room back there. So if you have additional kids or additional guests that you want to share the connecting area with, it's going to be right over there. Over here is the guest bathroom. Pretty straightforward, some cool decor on the wall as well, but see you guys next time.
What?
There is a door over here, but it's not what you think. We'll get to that though. So let's say you don't want to entertain or you're done entertaining and you want to kind of relax by yourself. You have this main bedroom area. Another seat over here and pretty comfortable. Is there coffee down here? A good question. There is not. No coffee in the room, but that's fine. Giant bed with a lot of wood tones as well as golden tones. Also a pretty big TV. Probably one of the biggest ones we've seen in terms of Vegas hotels. This side also has an outdoor view, but this is the TV remote. Raise. U2 live at the Sphere. I actually kind of like this because back in the day, this side wasn't that interesting, but now it is. I didn't even notice this originally, but walk-in closet, not too fancy, but does the job. The rooms here also feel pretty good. Some of the other hotels are more stiff and like uncomfortable. Over here, you have a powder room and another big mirror. And finally, gigantic bathroom. So pretty standard in here. I don't think I need to show this off and demo it for you guys. There's two sinks. So one over here and the other one over there. Let's test. Ooh, pretty big jacuzzi tub. So a lot of the other ones get a bit tighter. This has a bit more room. So I think if you're like under 6 feet, you're good to go. If you're 6'2", you might be pushing it. If you're taller than 6'2", then you're not gonna have fun. But for most people, you're fine. Pretty big shower over here. So not the tallest, but tons of room back here. I actually don't know why they have that much room back there. Maybe they had a seat before. All the amenities are from aromatherapy. So what's behind this door? It's their own little fitness room, which is kind of insane because I've never been in any other suite that has its own fitness room or has its own like bike or elliptical device. Probably should be wearing shoes for this, but I'm just gonna quickly show it off because why not? So if you want to work out and you don't want to go to the main gym, then this is a great option. My guess is that this is probably for celebrities or other people that just don't want to be seen in the main area. So imagine if you had a personal trainer that brought you free weights and then you're using this for cardio. You have a mirror so you can watch yourself if you want to kind of see your form. And then back here is a little, oh, I thought this was a sink, but just a little area. Yeah, pretty cool. And it also connects to the main area. Back to the main area and one of the most interesting suites we've stayed in.
For dinner, we went to Wakuda, which is their modern Japanese option. The design here and vibes are amazing, and I'm a big fan of it. If possible, I'd recommend coming during their happy hour, which is between 3 to 6 p.m. on weekdays. During this time, the prices are in the SF or normal big city ranges, rather than the insane Vegas prices. We ended up ordering an app, sashimi, and also ramen. The presentation is amazing, service is great, vibes are solid, but the food is just okay to me. I'd happily come back to hang out or catch up with someone, especially for a drink or something, but it wouldn't be my first choice for food. The food isn't bad, just not memorable. Maybe unfair though, and worth another try for a future trip. Fast forwarding to the next morning, we got Bouchon Bakery with our breakfast credit. The everything egg pastry is probably my favorite item, but apparently it's seasonal, so we didn't see it on our recent 2025 visit. Overall, as you can tell from all the trips we've taken here, the Palazzo at Venetian is one of our favorite hotels in Vegas. You get giant standard rooms that work even if one person sleeps early, while the other stays up to play poker. The cost of doing the book one below upgrade strategy is also surprisingly affordable compared to other major Vegas hotels. They usually don't charge that much more for the in-between rooms, meaning you can be very strategic. For example, for the fitness suite, we booked one level below into the grand one-bedroom suite. The base rate was $249, which isn't bad at all, especially since they're pretty upgrade happy. The location is also solid. You're pretty much center strip in my book since our go-to walks are Wynn, Bellagio, the Mall, and Aria. The best part, especially if you have the right cards, is the stay credit. A lot of other hotels like Wynn or Cosmo only offer you a spa credit, where the cheapest thing might be $200. Here you get a food credit along with some of the best tasting restaurants on the strip. You're also not limited to just expensive options, the affordable ones are also delicious and what I often crave after a long day. The cherry on top is that Palazzo, in our experience at least, often ends up being the cheapest FHR or booking portal option. Whether you're just trying to use your credits, or you're stacking the stay credits by hotel hopping, it's one of the best picks out there. If you want to learn about cards that have access to these VIP portals, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. If you made it to this point, leave a castle or palace emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and respond. 3 questions: what are your thoughts on Palazzo at the Venetian? Where do you typically stay in Vegas? Also, how do you think about credits and perks? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor, thumbs up, share this, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you on the road.
There is a super comfy pull-out couch, and we're not sure if they changed the sheets or not. They probably do, but to make the couch even comfier, a pro tip is to bring a sleeping bag if you have a player 3.
Well, I thought I was player 1. How did I become player 3?
Oh, I guess you are nice, but typically the person who is the extra usually goes into sleeping bag. Seb loves camping, so this is to scratch that itch.
What?
Over here is the workstation, so Joe's getting some work done.
Well, it must be working up a storm. The screen's off.
Right outside, we are on the 3rd floor, so this does have direct pull access if you hop over the balcony.
It's not direct access.
Direct access. Ooh.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not direct access.
Direct access. Dupe.